Hi guys, immigration-obsessed Talk TV decided that they would interview an expert on channel crossings and present his professional take on why the French authorities are not turning back the boats like Talk TV viewers are demanding. Nah, I'm only joking. They interviewed a fisherman who had no understanding of the legality of making an asylum claim and even compared the French authorities to a police officer sitting outside someone's home while a burglary was taking place. Have a listen to this.
The EU has reportedly blocked a deal which would allow the UK to send Channel migrants back to France. The move is a major blow to Rishi Sunak, who was hoping the plan would help tackle the small boat crisis. This comes as the French are being accused of completely failing to stop migrants from making the dangerous journey across the English Channel and instead facilitating the illegal activity. Our correspondent, Oliver Whitfield-Mearchich, has been out in the waters all day and spoke to one British fisherman who highlighted France's inaction.
How would you characterise the French response? Do you think they're being useless? Do you think they're doing an all right job? Or do you think actually they're doing really well?
They're not doing really well, that's for sure. I mean, I've watched it go on for many years, and they have got a very difficult situation in the fact that there is a lot of people leaving the beaches all at the same time. But I do wonder why they don't stop the boats. It seems like they escort them out to the border, they let them go, they go back, they get another one, they escort them out. If they can find them that easily as they leave the beach, because they pick them up about a mile, 2 miles off the beach, they've got all that time, sometimes 3-4 hours it takes for them to escort them to the border. They've got all that time to stop them, apprehend them. You know, they're going out to commit a crime, they're crossing the border illegally. So it would be like the police watching somebody make a burglary and then after they've escaped and fled the scene saying, oh, they shouldn't have done that.
It's not like that. It's not illegal to cross the channel and claim asylum in Britain. So your analogy doesn't make any sense because you're talking about a crime in your analogy, and we're talking about no crime being committed. And the UK government have said this themselves. It's not illegal to claim asylum in Britain. 70% of cases are when they are actually processed, move on to refugee status. So no crime has been committed. So your analogy is rubbish. Now, he also talked about, well, why don't the French stop these people from getting on board the boats? Well, just think about that for a moment. You want the French authorities to stop people getting in boats. Okay, but when they get in the boat, you don't know what their motivation is. You can't arrest somebody on suspicion of getting in a boat. It's not a crime to get in a boat. But when they are in the boats and they believe, well, of course, these people are trying to cross the channel to get to Britain, to claim asylum, which once again is legal, what do you want the French authorities to do? Now, he's saying, well, why can't they just push them back? Okay, we know that if you try to push back a dinghy, a dodgy dinghy, there's a risk that people will fall in the water. Some of them may have life jackets, some of them may not have, some may not, and others may not be able to swim. And there's a risk that people will die. So the French authorities are not going to put themselves in a position where they're going to literally kill people. So they will escort them out. Like, what do you want them to do instead? To pick them up? But if people don't want to get on board the French vessel, what do you do? Get on board, have a fight with them? What? There's a risk to the asylum seekers, and there's a risk to the French staff. So you can try and encourage them to come back. But then once again, we come to the main point here. These asylum seekers don't want to stay in France. They want to get to Britain. So even if the French authorities are able to convince them, look, not today, come back to shore, and they eventually convince them to do that, what's to stop them from getting in another dinghy the day after or a few hours after? And also, if there are hundreds of crossings, there are thousands of people, maybe not thousands, hundreds of people crossing every day, the French authorities can't be monitoring every part of the coast. And of course, the people smugglers will realize, okay, this is where the French authorities are, let's move to another part of the beach. Or let's move to a part of the beach where, they can't arrive in time to stop us. Once again, even if the French authorities do stop some of these boats and take people back, what do you want them to do? Put people in prison, even though they haven't committed a crime? This makes no sense whatsoever. It's just this idea that well, the French need to turn the boats back and then all the problem is resolved. No, even if they do, these people want to get to Britain. You can't stop them wanting to come to Britain. There's no disincentive at the moment, no deterrent strong enough to convince people not to come. And, whatever Rishi Sunak or Suella Braverman or Talk TV say, it's not going to make any difference. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.